Yo, what's good with y'all? Welcome back to the channel, and today we gonna lock in on Gunna and Young Thug, man. Once a dynamic duo, now they not even on speaking terms. But in this video, we're gonna talk about how Gunna was able to succeed and thrive despite all the allegations, hate, and lack of industry support, while Young Thug, despite having all the hype getting out of jail, has been failing. But in order to do that, we got to go back to 2022. Young Thug, Gunna, and 26 others swept up in Georgia's Rico case, accused of running a criminal enterprise under the YSL name. Suddenly, lyrics became evidence and affiliations became charges. Thug refused to take any deals, but Gunna decided that after 8 months of being locked up and having bail denied on several occasions, that he would negotiate a plea agreement that would allow him to come home early, while Thug remained behind bars. At first, people were celebrating. Meek Mill tweeted in support of Gunna, welcoming him home, and blogs were calling it a win. But it wasn't long before court footage dropped exposing what actually led to his release.
YSL is a music label and a gang, and you have personal knowledge that members or associates of YSL have committed crimes in furtherance of the gang.
Yes, ma'am.
Look. Give me some McDonald's. When you come back, I might remember something. Can you do that?
Oh yeah. Big Mac, fries, Coke?
Yeah.
Done.
Gunna did the unthinkable. The narrative flipped instantly. People started labeling Gunna as a rat and began getting trolled for saying yes ma'am on the stand.
Gunna want it, man. You can't be in the city doing all that ratting and shit. Rat ass.
Meek eventually deleted his tweet and things started going downhill quickly for Gunna. But here's the thing. Gunna never testified against Thug, never took the stand in his case, and never mentioned Thug's name in court. And yet his name got run through the mud like he was the main reason Thug was in jail. Gunna released a public statement to his Instagram after receiving so much backlash. While I have agreed to always be truthful, I want to make it perfectly clear that I have not made any statements, have not been interviewed, have not cooperated, have not agreed to testify to be a witness for or against any party in the case, and have absolutely no intention of being involved in the trial process in any way. I've chosen to end my own Rico case with an Alfred plea and end my personal ordeal by publicly acknowledging my association with YSL. An Alfred plea in my case is the entry of a guilty plea to the one charge against me, which is in my best interest, while at the same time maintaining my innocence toward the same charge. An Alfred plea means he didn't admit guilt, but agreed there was enough evidence to convict him. This caused a bigger conversation to take place in the industry on what can and can't be considered snitching, which has always felt like a moving target. Jewel Wicker would release an article that got the attention of Gunna's attorney Steve Sado, titled Gunna's 2022 release from jail has raised speculation from hip-hop fans regarding snitching. Sado would defend these snitching allegations in response to this article by saying, what was said at his Alfred plea hearing was solely to resolve his own case. It cannot be used by the prosecution against Young Thug or any other defendant. But even with his attorney adding clarification and coming to his defense, it still was unclear whether Gunna's Alfred plea could be considered snitching or not, and that courtroom footage felt impossible to overcome. It wasn't long before Gunna started losing all his industry support. Lil Baby unfollowed him, Lil Durk publicly distanced himself from him.
Do you believe that Gunna told that man, I don't sit up and play games, man. That man told. You should have went in there and kept your mouth closed.
And even Weezy, his longtime friend and producer, publicly called him a rat. But this is where Gunna's redemption arc truly began. Gunna didn't beg for forgiveness. He didn't explain himself in interviews. He let the music talk. His first single, Bread and Butter, was a statement piece. He took shots at prosecutors, at fake friends, at the whole situation, and then he dropped A Gift and a Curse, a solo album with no features, and a project that felt like a man rebuilding his foundation in real time and rapping for his life. You Mean blew up, TikTok, clubs, radio, Billboard, it was everywhere, and the fan base started shifting. Comments like "he ain't snitch on me" became common. That wasn't just trolling, that was people choosing the music over those street politics. Gunna's fan base evolved. His story became one of resilience, not scandal. Plus, his music never relied heavy on street content anyway. He was making hits, and that's what people showed up for. Now, contrast that with Thug. When he got released in October 2024, the culture erupted. IG stories from Nicki, Travis, Drake, they all showing him love. It felt like a moment. He had truly beaten the odds. Everyone had him counted out and thought that he was going to be put to jail for an extremely long time. But turns out his plea deal came with serious strings. Thug pled guilty and was sentenced to time served, but it also hit him with 15 years of probation, a 10-year ban from Metro Atlanta, and heavy restrictions. No gang references, no contact with former YSL affiliates. He even has to do anti-gang presentations, and any misstep could land him right back inside. But something was odd. Young Thug requested the court to allow him to still be able to make music with Gunna despite all the drama online, whether or not he snitched.
Mr. Williams have no contact with any of the co-defendants in this indictment, with the exception of Mr. Quantavious Greer, that is his biological brother, as well as Mr. Sergio Kitchens. He's a phenomenal artist. He goes performer known as Gunna, G-U-N-N-A. Mr. Williams and Mr. Kitchens are contractually obligated, and they frequently perform music.
And while Gunna never did much talking online, his actions showed he still wanted to maintain his friendship and relationship with Thug, despite the allegations yelling free slime during shows and performing a lot of their old collabs. But that dynamic shifted when Thug tweeted just 1 month after his release, "Gunna, stop acting like we friends on the internet. I don't know you, my guy." That tweet hit different. It was the first time Thug made it clear that whatever relationship they had was done. There was no more speculation. Instead of Thug dropping music out the gate, he just tweeted. In fact, the only way to get anything from Thug was to go on Twitter, not Spotify, not Apple Music. It would take until March, 5 months after his release, to finally mention anything about music, saying, "Y'all motherfuckers gonna have to beg me to drop this shit, no kizzy." On Tuesday, April 1st, now 6 months after his release, Thug posted a picture of the DA's investigator calling her a liar, risking another violation. They argued that it endangered a protected witness and violated terms. The judge declined prison time but warned him to exercise restraint. You would think the tweets would stop here after nearly landing him back in the position he fought so hard to escape. But nope, he decided to throw a random shot at Kid Cudi over his testimony in the Diddy case that he was required by law to participate in after receiving a federal subpoena.
Just last week, Ventura testified that Sean Combs had threatened to blow up Kid Cudi's car because he had found out about their relationship together.
Like, bro, he tried to blow up his car over Cassie, someone he beat on camera for the world to see. Read the room. People wanted music, not messy tweets. Thug was released in October, and it would be a long 6 months before he would eventually release his single Money on Money featuring Future, an unimpressive introduction to this new era of Young Thug. This release fell flat and barely crept into the top 40 on Billboard at its peak. UI Scuddy was supposed to be the big return. Instead, he's been unable to build an ounce of hype around his music, with fans on Reddit saying he lost it. People questioning if the fire is even there. For someone who once defined Atlanta's sound, this was a scary fall from grace. You see, Gunna's blow up has been deeper than just the music. After getting out, he slimmed down, stayed quiet, and focused on his health and growth. Gunna also quietly covered up his YSL tattoo. No rant, no drama, just a clean break. And that didn't sit right with Thug, who jumped into the comments saying, I mean, he did say it should end, LOL, referring back to the court footage of Gunna on the stand. Another tweet, another delete. But at that point, the message was loud. Thug was watching Gunna closely, and it's eating at him. Meanwhile, Gunna never responded, not even once. No subtweets, no sneak disses, just more music, more wins. He's been moving like someone who already made peace with the fallout, like someone who accepted that the old chapter is over and he's not begging to come back. But on Thug's end, it's like he's stuck. And honestly, this Reddit post said it best. For Thug to be this hot over Gunna tells me he knows Gunna would be just fine without him, and it bothers him. Now, to be fair, Thug brought Gunna into the game. He helped shape him, made space for him in YSL, and gave him a lane. So from Thug's perspective, this wasn't just industry beef. It felt like betrayal on a personal level, like someone he considered a brother might have played a role in him getting locked up for life. Even though the legal facts don't support that idea, since Gunna never actually testified against him, it's not easy for Thug to look past that courtroom footage. We as fans can separate the music from the street politics, but for Thug, that moment was unforgivable. Still, what's undeniable in this, Gunna has survived everything that should have crushed him. Industry blackballing, internet hate, snitch allegations, and somehow he's the one thriving. Thug is watching what happened in real time, and it's hard for him to accept. He's trying to force these outdated street rules on fans who just don't care. At the end of the day, this whole saga stopped being about who snitched and started being about who seized the moment and delivered. People are riding with Gunna because the music's hitting. Simple as that. Bread and Butter hit. A Gift and a Curse hit. You mean hit. It took over the culture. The memes, the TikToks, the sold out shows, it's not because people forgot what happened, it's because they've moved on. They see an artist who was isolated by the industry but owned his moment and bounced back a better artist for it. Gunna never leaned into the drama, he leaned into growth. He gave people something real and now he's reaping the benefits. Meanwhile, Thug, he's struggling to catch that same wave. His attempts to drag Gunna back into the mud have fallen flat. His sneak disses feel bitter. His album rollout feels uninspired. Fans were hyped for his return, but every drop or preview since his release has felt underwhelming. People don't want to hear drama, they want to hear hits. They want growth, and unless Thug locks in and delivers that, he's at serious risk of watching the culture move on without him. And now things are coming full circle. Gunna's already teasing The Last One, his final album under YSL. It's a subtle but symbolic move. The title alone feels like a message, like he's tying up that last loose end before fully walking away from the past. And just as Gunna pressed for this moment, rumors are going around that Thug may finally be ready to drop his comeback album around the same time. This could get very interesting if Thug decides to compete with Gunna and drop on his date, something that was rumored to happen while he was still behind bars, but it was difficult to confirm whether it was real or AI generated.
I'm dropping this surprise album on the same day Buddy dropped his album. That shit coming up soon. I need a verse from you. If you feel like replying, if you feel like you want to reply to it, saying or something, man, don't do it. Drop it on my album. I'm dropping a surprise album on the same day that drop. Send your verse in, bro. I want you and Wham on the same song. Send your verse in.
This was originally referring to the Business is Business album that Thug dropped behind bars, but he could be looking to do something like this again considering he never went through with it. Whether he decides to drop on the same day or not, what's clear is that they are on two completely different paths leading into their upcoming album. Gunna walked out of jail skinny, sharp, and refocused. Thug came out bloated, bitter, and unfocused, literally and metaphorically. And honestly, that contrast says everything about where their careers are headed right now. One is ascending, the other is descending. But I'll end with this. Thug is still one of the most talented artists of our time, no question. But he's not creating under the same conditions anymore. Every lyric, every post, every move is under a microscope.
But I understand, rap lyrics. I understand how it could be twisted. I understand what it could do to the mind of people. I understand all that, and I promise you I'm 100% changing that. It's just, I'm older, I'm grown now, and it's just like, I'm smarter, it's more things to rap about. Like, I've experienced a lot of good things. I experienced more bad things, but I experienced a lot of good things too. And anyway, I can go forever.
If there was ever a moment for him to grow, it's now. And honestly, he might need to take a page out of Gunna's book. Lock in, get focused. Tighten up mentally and physically. Let the music do the talking, not the tweets, because the culture's moving forward, and if Thug keeps clinging on to the past, he may just get left behind. Drop a comment and let me know your thoughts below. I'll catch you on the next one. I'm out.